Hi everyone, health tip this week. We're in the kitchen again, and I'm going to be making what I call Dr. Marco's super healthy Unchicken McNuggets. So obviously we don't want to be having genetically modified grain-fed chickens that are deep fried in genetically modified vegetable oils and then basted in genetically modified who knows what. So we're going to try to do something a little healthier that actually doesn't contain any meat, but it's kind of an interesting little thing. So, ingredient list. We're actually going to be using cauliflower. So basically I've washed cauliflower and chopped it up into pieces. So I've tried to chop it up so it comes into pieces that kind of would sort of resemble a piece of chicken. All the little small parts that are left over, we can just throw that on a salad or something else. But we're just going to be using bigger chunks like this. So that's the main part of it, is that we're actually going to be using this. This is becoming the meat, so to speak. So cauliflower is the base. Other ingredients we're going to use. We're going to be steaming and sauteing the cauliflower in coconut oil and my favorite grass-fed butter from Canadian cows. So obviously the grass-fed butter, you know all the advantages of that, and coconut oil, you know all the advantages of that as well. Other ingredients, just a little bit of turmeric. We're going to add that in there for great anti-cancer and antioxidant properties, just very subtle for a little bit of zingy flavor. And then also going to be adding some salt. So I either use real salt or Herbamare. These are my two favorites as far as usage for salting things, because they're both very good as far as salt content, getting lots of minerals and everything else. And we're also going to be using one organic free-range egg. And then we're also going to be using some almonds, which I'm going to be slap chopping. If you don't have that slap chop, you could just use almond meal. So that's just basically ripped up almonds, basically. That's almond flour. But I like this because the skin of the almonds, when I do my little slap chopping with it, they kind of remain there and kind of give it like a crispy, dark, kind of similar to the batter that you would find around the chicken McNuggets. Okay, so in this section we're actually going to be doing the steaming sauteing of the cauliflower. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of water, so it'll steam a little bit. But the main parts of this is actually going to be some coconut oil, and I'm not measuring anything. I'm just using a certain amount, so whatever that is. And then a little bit of the grass-fed butter as well. So that amount is fine. So I'm going to heat this up so it's all melted, and then I'm going to be adding the big broccoli pieces into that and steaming it covered for about maybe 5 minutes to soften up the cauliflower. So I've heated up the coconut oil, butter, and a little bit of water mixture, so that's warmed up. I'm just going to add some of the salt right into that mixture, the Herbamare, and I'm just going to add the cauliflower pieces, just like that. I'm going to swish them around. And we're just going to cook that covered for approximately 5 to 10 minutes, just so they get a little softer. So that's step 2. So while these are sauteing, I'm actually kind of mixing them around a little bit so that they'll be covered on all the sides. Okay, so in this phase we're going to be making the coating or the batter. So I'm actually going to be using some raw organic almonds here. Or like I said, if you don't have one of these slap chop thingies, you can actually just go and just get your almond flour. But I'm actually going to use these, so it's a pretty simple process. Just going to throw them in there like that, and then this is where you get out all your frustrations of the day. Just put it down there and you start hammering. Okay, so you want to do it quite enough till it's actually pretty fine granules, and you're just going to be putting it on a plate, just like that. And of course you can spill some too. That's part of the cooking process. So this is just going to be laid out a little bit like that. Okay. So this is the next step. So I've taken out the sort of sautéed, semi-softened cauliflower with the coconut oil and the butter and the grass-fed butter. So the next part of it, this is one free-range organic egg that I've beaten. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these, put it in here, and then just try to cover it with egg. And then from here, I'm going to transfer it over here, and then get it to pick up the almonds, the almond meal. So that's that. So this put that back here, and I'll just do that with each one of these. So cover it with egg, roll it in the almond meal, throw it over there. So we'll continue to do that until all these are covered, and then we'll hit the next step. Okay, so now I have my battered cauliflower. We're going to add them to the ceramic nonstick pan. I've also added into the pan a little grass-fed butter and coconut oil as well. And we're just going to add them in. I have it on medium-high heat. So when you cut the cauliflower, if you can see that on the profile, I kind of cut it so it's kind of flattened on both sides. That's the best way to do it, so it's easier to kind of fry them on one side and the other. But some of the other ones I left kind of rounded too, but ideally if you could cut them like that, that's the better way to do it. I'm just going to add a little bit more of the salt, just on top. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of turmeric as well, just a little bit, to give them a little bit of the zing and the flavor. Fry it for a few minutes on one side, and then after a bit we'll try to flip each one of them over and try the other side. So there we have the finished product, our Unchicken nuggets. So we've used cruciferous vegetable, we used healthy fats with the coconut oil, 4 fat-soluble vitamins, and the Rolling Meadows grass-fed butter, a little bit of turmeric for its good anti-cancer properties and antioxidant properties, some real salt, so we're getting a lot of minerals and flavor. And so there's the finished product. Doesn't look too bad. It's crunchy and it's yummy. And we'll see you next time. So there you go. Oh, it's also gluten-free, of course, because we used almonds for the batter.